They gave us 60 days to kneel. We used it to forge the key to their demise. They thought humanity would kneel, but Sylara Kade carried a secret that could unravel the galaxy. On the shimmering orb of Stellar Nexus, a diplomatic station orbiting Venus in the year 2375, the air thrummed with tension as the Galactic Alliance issued its ultimatum. Within the vast translucent sphere of the council chamber, humanity faced a reckoning that could end in subjugation or war. Kade, humanity's sharp-eyed defender, stood ready to rewrite the stars. Sylara Kade stepped into the radiant hall of Stellar Nexus, her boots echoing on the polished obsidian floor that reflected the swirling clouds of Venus 300 kilometers below. At 38, she was tall and slender, her silver hair cropped short, framing a face etched with resolve and sharp green eyes that missed nothing. Her gray military coat, adorned with a stylized Earth emblem, clung to her frame, a communicator pulsing softly at her wrist. Born in the biotech labs of New Geneva, she had risen to become humanity's foremost military and diplomatic mind, a woman who could read a room as deftly as a battlefield. As she surveyed the chamber, the air felt heavy with alien scrutiny. Luminari, Echolites, and Zinari delegates watched her every move. The architecture of the Nexus, a floating sphere of crystalline panels and glowing energy rings, hummed with advanced technology, its walls shimmering with holographic star maps. This was the heart of galactic diplomacy, a place where species forged uneasy alliances or declared wars. At the chamber's center, Crixon, the luminary ambassador, loomed like a cascade of liquid light. Standing 8 feet tall, their form was a fluid shimmer, shifting between hues of gold and violet, a natural armor that needed no adornment. Their voice, a resonant echo like starlight-given sound, filled the hall. "Humanity must join the Galactic Alliance fully," Crixon declared, their tone imperious yet faltering, as if something unseen tugged at their words. "Surrender your autonomy, provide your brightest minds, your resources, within 60 days, or face annihilation." The ultimatum hung like a blade, backed by the murmurs of the Echolites, whose crystalline bodies vibrated with harmonic threats, and the Zinari, their insectoid forms clicking in agreement. Kade's eyes narrowed, catching the faint tremor in Crixon's voice, a crack in their certainty. With a subtle flick of her wrist, Kade activated a concealed biomonitor, a device she had crafted in secret during her years in New Geneva. Its microscopic sensors hummed, scanning the room for anomalies. A faint pulse registered, an erratic biosignal, alien and invasive, emanating from the delegates. Her pulse quickened, but her face remained a mask of calm. 60 days is generous," she said, her voice steady, laced with a hint of mockery. "Enough time for you to reconsider what freedom means to us and what we're capable of." The chamber bristled, but Kade held Crixon's glowing gaze, sensing the ambassador's hesitation, as if their own words fought against an unseen force. Her mind flashed back to a decade prior, 2365, in the sterile labs of New Geneva. At 28, Kade had stood over a holo display, dissecting alien neural patterns, her fingers dancing across data streams. She had uncovered hints of a parasitic influence in intercepted galactic transmissions, a discovery buried by Earth's cautious leaders. That research had forged her into the woman now facing the Alliance, her bio-monitor a testament to her foresight. The memory grounded her, sharpening her focus as she stood in the Nexus. Crixon's form flickered, their voice dropping to a strained whisper. "You will comply or perish." The words broke unevenly, and Kade's monitor spiked, the biosignal surging. Something was wrong, something controlling, ancient, and hidden. She realized the Alliance's threat wasn't their own. A puppeteer pulled their strings. Her lips curved slightly, a plan forming. "We'll consider your term," she said, her tone diplomatic but edged with defiance, buying time for humanity's gambit. As the delegates dispersed, their forms gliding through the chamber's glowing arches, the air thickened with unspoken threats. Crixon lingered, their light dimming as if wrestling with an internal storm. Kade caught a faint whisper in her mind, not her own, but cold and alien. "Resistance is futile." She shook it off, her biomonitor pinpointing the source as Paravox, a name from her old research notes, a parasitic entity older than stars. She stepped to a viewport, Venus's amber storm swirling below, and opened a secure channel to Earth. "Prepare the talent ships," she ordered, her voice low. "We comply for now." On Mars, in the shadowed bunkers of Nova Ares, Captain Joran Kale received her transmission. At 35, he was a towering figure, his black hair cropped tight, a scar tracing his jaw from a lab accident turned battle. Clad in a scientist's white coat over lightweight armor, he grinned, his humor a shield against the coming storm. "All right, team, let's play nice and pack some surprises," he said, his voice warm but firm, rallying his squad of disguised operatives. They loaded sabotage devices into ships meant to carry humanity's brightest minds to the Alliance, a ruse to infiltrate and destabilize. Kade paced the Nexus's observation deck, her mind racing. The biosignal's implications gnawed at her. What was Paravox, and why manipulate the Alliance? She recalled fragmented data from 2365, a species older than the Luminari, invisible, thriving in neural networks. The risk was immense, but so was humanity's resolve. She glanced at Venus again, its storms mirroring her thoughts. Crixin, still in the chamber, pulsed erratically, their light betraying an internal struggle. Paravox's whispers grew louder in their mind, urging control, but a spark of doubt flickered. Kade's decision crystallized. Humanity would feign submission, sending ships laced with sabotage while developing energy fields to project a false fleet. The Nexus's rings pulsed brighter, as if sensing the shift in fate. She exited the hall, her coat billowing, the weight of 60 days pressing on her. Jorn's voice crackled through her communicator. "Ships are ready, boss. Let's give 'em a show." Kade nodded to herself. The plan set. Humanity wouldn't just survive, they'd expose the galaxy's hidden master. The war for freedom had begun, cloaked in deception. The galaxy believed humanity's surrender was imminent, but Joran Kale was packing a lie sharper than any blade. In the crimson-lit bunkers of Nova Ares, humanity's secret war machine hummed with defiance. As the 60-day ultimatum ticked down, ships disguised as vessels of compliance carried a hidden arsenal, ready to turn the Galactic Alliance's hubris against it. Sylara Kade from Earth's shadowed command wove a plan that would rewrite the stars or burn them. Beneath the rust-colored skies of Mars in the sprawling underground complex of Nova Ares, Joran Kale strode through a hangar buzzing with activity. At 6'2", his muscular frame filled the scientist's white coat he wore as a disguise, the lightweight armor beneath it glinting faintly. His black hair was cropped close, a small scar on his chin catching the dim light as he grinned at his team. Once a biotech engineer, now a special forces captain, Kale's humor was his weapon against fear. "All right, folks, look like nerds. Fight like wolves," he said, his voice carrying a warm, roguish edge. His team, a dozen operatives posing as scientists, checked sabotage devices, compact drones designed to cripple Alliance systems, while loading them onto sleek, silver ships labeled as talent transports. The hangar, a vast cavern carved 500 meters below Mars' surface, echoed with the hum of fusion drives and the clatter of tools, its walls lined with holographic displays of star charts. Kale inspected a palm-sized energy field projector, a device capable of cloaking their ships as a massive fleet. "These babies will make the Alliance think we've got 1,000 warships," he quipped, tossing one to a nervous operative. "Smile when you plant 'em. Makes it hurt more." His team chuckled, tension easing as they prepared to infiltrate Lumen Prime, the Alliance's glowing capital 10 light-years away, accessible only through hyperspace gates. Kale's mind flicked back to 2370, in a Nova Ares lab where he'd developed a bioweapon prototype, a neural disruptor targeting unknown life forms. The memory of those late nights, surrounded by glowing vials and humming scanners, fueled his confidence now. That weapon, refined in secret, was humanity's ace against the unseen enemy Kade had warned him about. On Earth, in the sterile command center of New Geneva, Sylara Kade stood before a holographic display, her silver hair catching the blue glow of data streams. Her biomonitor pulsed at her wrist, decoding the erratic signals from Stellar Nexus. The readings confirmed her worst fears. Paravox, a parasitic species older than the Milky Way itself, had woven itself into the Alliance's neural networks for millions of years. "It's not the Luminari or Zenari we're fighting," she murmured to her council, a group of grizzled generals and sharp-eyed scientists. "It's something older, using them as puppets." Her green eyes scanned the room, a circular chamber buried 300 meters beneath Switzerland, its walls etched with Earth's defensive schematics. She outlined the plan. Send the talent ships to infiltrate, sabotage from within, and prepare bioweapons to target Paravox. War was inevitable, but humanity would fight on its terms. Aboard Lumen Prime, Crixon awaited the human ships, their liquid light form pulsing uneasily in the city's heart, a metropolis of liquid crystal towers stretching 5 kilometers into a violet sky. The planet, a radiant orb in the Orion Arm, shimmered with mirrored structures that reflected starlight like a galaxy trapped in glass. Crixon's voice echoed with doubt as they addressed their aides. "The humans comply, but their intent feels wrong." Paravox's whispers surged in their mind, cold and commanding. "Accept them. They are tools." Crixon's glow dimmed, their will bending under the parasite's grip, unaware of the sabotage lurking in humanity's gift. Kale's ship docked at Lumen Prime's orbital platform, a lattice of glowing rings spanning 2 kilometers. Disguised as a scientist, he led his team through the platform's sterile corridors, their white coats blending with alien technicians. A towering echolite, its crystalline body chiming softly, stopped them for inspection. "Purpose of visit?" It hummed, vibration sharp. Kale flashed a grin. "Just here to share some human brainpower. Bet it'll resonate with you." His quip drew a puzzled hum, but the echolite waved them through, distracted. Kale's team planted sabotage drones in the platform's core, each device syncing with the energy field projectors to amplify humanity's illusion of a vast armada. Back on Earth, Cade's analysis deepened. The Paravox signal wasn't just control, it was a network, threading through every Alliance species. "They've been at this for eons," she told her council, her voice low but resolute. "We cut the strings, we free the galaxy." Her fingers danced across the hollow display, mapping neural patterns to refine their bioweapon, a targeted pulse to sever Paravox's hold. She sent encrypted orders to Kale: activate the fleet illusion and retreat. War was coming, and humanity's deception needed to hold. Crixon reported to the Alliance Council, their voice faltering as they described the human ships. "They bring talent, but their numbers..." Paravox's influence tightened, drowning their doubt in a flood of artificial certainty. The Council, unaware of the parasite, approved the integration, blind to the sabotage spreading through their systems. On Mars, Kale's team slipped away, their ship vanishing into hyperspace as the first projectors activated. From Alliance sensors, a ghost fleet of 1,000 human warships bloomed across the Vela 9 system, a lie so vast it shook their confidence. Kale leaned back in his cockpit, the red glow of Mars fading as they jumped to safety. "That's one for the history books," he said, his scar creasing with a grin. His team cheered, but his mind was on Cade's warning. Paravox knew they were coming. The parasite's whispers grew louder, sensing the threat, tightening its grip on the Alliance. Cade, staring at Venus from her command center, felt the weight of the ticking clock. 58 days remained. She clenched her fist, her biomonitor humming. "We're not just fighting for Earth," she whispered. "We're fighting for their minds." The galaxy's fate hung on humanity's gambit, and the stage was set for a war unlike any other. The galaxy trembled as the Galactic Alliance mistook humanity's silence for surrender. But Sylara Kade was orchestrating a defiance that would burn brighter than a supernova. As the 60-day ultimatum expired, the Vela 9 system, a star cluster 2,000 light-years from Earth, erupted into chaos. Warships clashed in a dance of light and death, with humanity's fate hanging on a lie so bold it could shatter empires. Kade, from the heart of Stellar Nexus, prepared to turn the tide with a truth sharper than any weapon. The Vela 9 system, A sprawling nebula of crimson gas clouds and flickering stars became the crucible of war on the 61st day. Alliance warships, their hulls gleaming like polished obsidian, swarmed the system, their energy cannons casting arcs of violet light across the void. From the command deck of Stellar Nexus, 300 kilometers above Venus, Sylara Kade stood resolute, her silver hair glinting under the holographic displays that tracked the battle. Her gray coat, emblazoned with Earth's emblem, felt heavier as she activated the energy field projectors. A ghost fleet of 1,000 human warships bloomed across Alliance sensors, a mirage born from the sabotage devices planted weeks ago. "Let them think we're invincible," she murmured, her green eyes locked on the tactical map, her biomonitor pulsing at her wrist with faint paravox signals. Crixon, aboard the Luminary flagship, a crystalline vessel spanning 3 kilometers, radiated fury. Their liquid light form pulsed erratically, gold and violet hues clashing as they issued the order. Eradicate the humans. They defy the Alliance's will. Their voice, a resonant echo, wavered under Paravox's cold whispers, urging slaughter. The parasite's presence, invisible yet suffocating, flooded Crixon's mind with visions of human ships burning. Yet a flicker of doubt gnawed at them, a remnant of their own will fighting the manipulation. The flagship's bridge, a dome of shimmering crystal, reflected the chaos of Vela 9, where laser barrages lit the nebula like a storm. Kade's mind flashed to 2372, in a dimly lit lab at Nova Ares. She had stood over a neural scanner, her 25-year-old self analyzing a captured Xenari neural sample. A faint, unnatural signal, Paravox, had pulsed through the data, a parasite weaving through alien minds. That discovery, buried by bureaucracy, now fueled her strategy. She snapped back to the present, her biomonitor confirming the signal's dominance across the Alliance fleet. "It's not them," she whispered to her aide, a young officer trembling at the console. "Paravox controls them all." Her voice carried a steely resolve, her diplomatic mask replaced by a warrior's focus. In the Vela 9 system, Joran Kale clung to the controls of a talent ship, a sleek vessel disguised as a diplomatic transport, but bristling with hidden weapons. His muscular frame strained against the scientist's coat, now discarded to reveal lightweight armor. "All right, team, time to crash their party," he said, his scar creasing with a grin. His squad of 12 operatives stormed an Alliance munitions depot, a floating fortress 1 kilometer wide, its corridors lined with glowing conduits. They moved like shadows, planting bioweapon charges designed to disrupt Paravox's neural hold. An echolite guard, its crystalline form chiming, confronted them. "State your clearance," it demanded. Kale winked. "Clearance? We're just here to borrow some firepower." His quip bought seconds, enough for his team to neutralize the guard and secure the depot. Crixon's hesitation grew, their orders faltering as Paravox whispers intensified. "Destroy them. They are nothing." The parasite conjured images of human betrayal, drowning Crixon's doubts in a tide of artificial rage. Yet their glow dimmed, a sign of inner conflict. Kade, monitoring from Stellar Nexus, caught the shift in their biosignals. She opened a secure channel to Kale, her voice cutting through the static. "Joran, find their ambassador. Show them the truth." Kale nodded, dodging a laser volley as his team wired the depot's core with neural disruptors. "On it, boss. Let's give these puppets a wake-up call." The Ghost Fleet held, its illusions scattering Alliance forces. Human losses were minimal, a testament to Kade's foresight, but the nebula blazed with chaos. Ships collided, their wreckage glowing like embers. Paravox sensed the deception, its whispers turning to a psychic scream. "Crush them all." The parasite's desperation drove the Alliance into a frenzied assault, their coordination faltering as Kade's projections outmaneuvered them. Kale's team detonated the first bioweapon, a pulse that rippled through the depot, targeting Paravox's invisible threads. An echolite ambassador, freed momentarily, staggered, its chimes softening in confusion. Kade paced the Nexus's command deck, Venus's storms visible through the viewport. Her mind churned. Destruction would be easy, but liberation could reshape the galaxy. "We're not here to win a war," she told her crew, her voice firm. We're here to free them. The decision felt like a blade's edge, risking everything for a chance at unity. In Vela 9, Kale ducked behind a conduit, his team pinned by Zynari drones. "Keep it together, folks," he called, his voice light despite the danger. "We're not just fighting, we're rewriting history." A laser scorched the wall beside him, its blue-white flash illuminating his grin. Paravox's influence surged, driving the Alliance to a reckless offensive. Crixon's flagship fired blindly, their glow flickering as doubt and control warred within. Kade's biomonitor spiked, mapping the parasite's network. "It's now or never," she said, her fingers tightening around the communicator. The nebula pulsed with light, a battlefield where humanity's deception held the line. Kale's team pushed forward, their bioweapons weakening Paravox's grip. The war had begun, but Kade saw a path beyond victory. A galaxy united, not broken. And in that moment, with lasers tearing the void, humanity's defiance became a beacon. The galaxy thought humanity fought a losing war, but Sylara Kade was about to unveil a truth that would shatter the stars. In the heart of the Vela 9 system, where nebulae glowed like blood and warships burned, a hidden battlefield emerged, a psychic realm where an ancient parasite pulled the strings. Kade's gamble to confront this unseen enemy would either save the galaxy or doom it. As the war raged, humanity's defiance became a spark to ignite freedom. Sylara Kade stood on the command deck of Stellar Nexus, her silver hair catching the dim glow of Venus through the viewport 300 kilometers below. Her biomonitor hummed, its sensors locked onto the erratic Paravox signals pulsing through the Alliance fleet. She activated a neural interface, a sleek device wired to her wrist, and plunged her mind into the biovirtual space, a shimmering network of glowing threads, a psychic dimension where Paravox thrived. The space pulsed like a living thing, its strands weaving through a void of violet and black, whispering with a cold, alien presence. Kade's green eyes narrowed as a formless wave, Paravox itself, coalesced before her. "Resistance is futile," it hissed, its voice a chilling murmur in her mind. "You are but fleeting sparks in our eternal design." Kade's jaw tightened, her diplomatic poise replaced by a warrior's resolve. The parasite's presence was a suffocating weight, its invisible form rippling like heat over a desert. Kade's mind flashed to 2373 in the underground labs of Nova Ares, where she and a team of bioengineers had dissected intercepted Alliance transmissions. Buried in the data, they found traces of Paravox, a neural parasite older than the stars, capable of controlling entire species. That discovery, dismissed by Earth's council as speculative, now burned in her memory as she faced the enemy. Back in the virtual space, she countered, "You've hidden too long, Paravox. We see you now." Her biomonitor surged, mapping the parasite's neural threads, and she deployed a targeted pulse, a biotech weapon designed to fray its connections. In the Vela 9 system, Jorn Kale's talent ship darted through a hail of laser fire, its hull scorched but intact. His muscular frame, clad in lightweight armor, moved with precision as he led his team through an Alliance cruiser, a massive vessel 2 kilometers long, its corridors lined with glowing conduits. "Move fast, look smart," he quipped, his scar creasing with a grin. His squad overwhelmed a Zynari guard, its insectoid form clicking in panic, and reached the ship's neural core. Kale planted a biodisruptor, its pulse rippling through the cruiser's systems, weakening Paravox's hold. An Echolite ambassador, its crystalline body chiming softly, staggered as the parasite's grip faltered. "What is this?" it hummed, confused but free. Kale winked. "Just a little human hospitality." On Lumen Prime, Crixon's liquid light form flickered in the council chamber, a vast hall of mirrored crystal stretching 1 kilometer wide. Their voice, once resonant, broke into a panicked echo. "The humans! They defy us!" Paravox whispers surged, flooding their mind with images of betrayal, but the biodisruptor's pulse reached them. Crixon's glow steadied, their thoughts clearing. "We are not ourselves," they murmured, horror dawning as they sensed the parasite's manipulation. They broadcast a desperate plea to Kade across the stars. "Human, what have you found? Help us." Kade, still in the virtual space, caught the transmission, her heart racing. The Alliance wasn't the enemy, Paravox was. Paravox retaliated, its psychic waves slamming into Kade's mind, conjuring visions of Earth burning, her team slaughtered. Her knees buckled, but she clung to the neural interface, her training holding firm. "You're just noise," she spat, redirecting the biopulse to sever more of Paravox's threads. The virtual space shuddered, its glowing strands fraying. In real space, Kale's team activated energy field projectors, shielding their ship as Alliance drones swarmed. "Hold the line, folks," Kale called, dodging a plasma blast. "Boss lady's cooking something big." His humor steadied his team, their hands steady on bioweapon triggers. Kade's revelation hit like a shockwave. Paravox wasn't an Alliance member, but a parasite older than the galaxy, manipulating species for millennia. She broadcast the truth to a Zynari ambassador, whose segmented eyes widened in clarity. "We were blind," it clicked, aligning with humanity's cause. The Zynari's fleet, once hostile, began targeting Paravox's signals, their ships weaving through Vela 9's chaos. Paravox sensed the shift, its whispers turning to a psychic roar, intensifying control over the remaining Alliance forces. Warships fired erratically, their coordination crumbling as the parasite fought to maintain its grip. Kade wrenched herself from the virtual space, her vision swimming as she steadied herself on Stellar Nexus's deck. "Full bioweapon deployment," she ordered, her voice cutting through the command center's hum. "We're not fighting to win, we're fighting to free them." Her crew scrambled, redirecting resources to amplify the neural disruptors. In Vela 9, Kale's team held the cruiser, their bioweapons pulsing in sync with Kade's orders. An Alliance ship exploded nearby, its wreckage glowing like embers in the nebula. Kale laughed, ducking shrapnel. "Gotta say, this beats lab work." Crixon's plea echoed in Kade's ears, their voice raw with desperation. "We were puppets. Save us." Kade nodded to herself, her biomonitor stabilizing. Humanity's strategy shifted, no longer defense but liberation. The galaxy watched humanity not as prey, but as liberators wielding a truth that could unbind the stars. In the radiant chaos of Lumen Prime, where crystal towers reflected a violet sky, the war against Paravox surged to a breaking point. Sylara Kade and her unlikely allies, freed ambassadors of the Galactic Alliance, fought not for victory, but for freedom's rebirth. As the parasite's grip faltered, humanity's defiance became a beacon, burning through the nebula's heart. In the underground command center of Nova Ares, 500 meters beneath Mars' crimson surface, Sylara Kade stood before a holographic array, her silver hair glowing under the blue light of neural scans. Her biomonitor pulsed at her wrist, mapping Paravox's fading signals across the galaxy. Now 38, her green eyes burned with purpose as she coordinated with newly awakened Alliance ambassadors. "We strike their core now," she said, her voice steady but urgent, addressing a Zynari delegate whose segmented eyes gleamed on the holoscreen. The command center, a cavern of reinforced alloy and humming consoles, buzzed with activity as technicians refined bioweapons to target Paravox's neural network. Kade's strategy was clear. Unite the galaxy's species to dismantle the parasite's ancient hold, starting at its stronghold on Lumen Prime, 10 light-years away. On Lumen Prime, Joran Kale led his squad through a labyrinth of liquid crystal corridors, the planet's capital shimmering like a mirrored sea under its violet sky. At 6'2", his muscular frame strained against lightweight armor, his scar catching the glow of his personal energy field projector. "Stay sharp, folks. Think of this as redecorating an alien penthouse," he quipped, his grin easing his team's tension. They infiltrated a Paravox nest, a pulsating hub of biothreads hidden beneath a tower 1 kilometer tall. Kale's mind flashed to 2368 when he first met Kade in a Nova Ares lab. She'd been a sharp-tongued researcher, he a cocky engineer. Their banter over a failed bioscanner had forged an unspoken bond. That memory steadied him as he planted neural disruptors, their pulses rippling through the nest's glowing strands. Paravox struck back, its psychic wave flooding the battlefield with illusions. Alliance ships in the Vela 9 system, momentarily freed, turned on each other, their crews gripped by visions of betrayal. Crixon, aboard their crystalline flagship, pulsed with gold and violet light, their liquid form trembling. "We fight for you, human," they broadcast, their voice a resonant chime breaking through Paravox control. They channeled their body's radiant energy, a beam of pure light that disrupted the parasite's signals across Lumen Prime's orbit. The planet's mirrored towers amplified the glow, casting a blinding aura over the battlefield, 3,000 kilometers wide. Kade and Nova Ares activated the full bioweapon array, a network of satellites beaming neural pulses across the galaxy. "Target their core relays," she ordered, her voice cutting through the command center's hum. The pulses, invisible but precise, severed Paravox connections in the brains of countless Alliance soldiers. Her biomonitor showed the parasite's signals fraying, but a cold whisper crept into her mind. "You cannot end us. We are eternal." Paravox's desperation was palpable, its Gao quiet nature laid bare as it clung to power. Kade shook off the intrusion, her resolve unshaken, but a harder choice loomed. The battle demanded sacrifice. Kade faced a grim decision: deploy a decoy fleet to draw Paravox's focus, risking hundreds of human lives. "Send the drones," she said, her voice heavy, green eyes fixed on the holomap. The decoys, piloted by AI, lured Alliance ships into a trap, sparing human crews but shattering her heart. In Lumen Prime's orbit, Kale's team faced a swarm of Zenari drones, their pincers glinting. He activated his energy field, a shimmering shield deflecting a plasma blast. "Gotta say, these bugs throw a mean party," he laughed, rallying his squad as they pushed deeper into the nest, detonating disruptors that shattered Paravox biothreads. An Echolite ambassador, its crystalline form chiming softly, joined the fight via hololink, offering ancient data on Paravox's origins. "It predates our stars," it hummed, its vibrations steadying Kade's strategy. The data revealed weaknesses in the parasite's network, guiding her bioweapons to critical nodes. Crixon, now fully awake, pulsed brighter, their light joining the Echo-Light's harmonics to overload Paravox signals. The nest on Lumen Prime collapsed, its biothreads dissolving in bursts of violet light, the battlefield glowing like a supernova across a 5,000-kilometer radius. Kale ducked shrapnel, his armor scorched but intact. "Keep it together, team. We're rewriting the galaxy's bedtime story." His humor masked the strain, his muscles tense as he planted the final disruptor. Paravox whispers grew frantic, a psychic scream echoing. "You will fall!" But its power waned, its threads unraveling. Kade in Nova Ares felt a surge of hope. Freedom of consciousness was spreading. "This isn't about power," she murmured, her voice soft but firm. "It's about unity." Her vision of a galaxy bound by mutual understanding drove her forward, even as the sacrifice weighed heavy. The battlefield on Lumen Prime blazed, its crystal towers reflecting the chaos like mirrors of fate. Paravox's network crumbled, its tan non-essence exposed as a hollow force. Desperate to survive, Crixon's plea echoed in Kade's ears. "You've shown us the truth." The Zenari and Echolite rallied, their ships turning on the parasite's remaining strongholds. Kale's team emerged from the nest, the air thick with the scent of ozone and victory. Humanity's fight had shifted, from survival to liberation, a spark that could unite the stars. And as Paravox faltered, Kade saw the galaxy's future, not ruled, but free. Sylara Kade stood in the Nova Ares Command Center, 500 meters beneath Mars's crimson dust, her silver hair catching the glow of a holographic neural map. Her biomonitor pulsed, unraveling Paravox signals, and the truth hit like a shockwave. Paravox wasn't an Alliance member, but an ancient parasite, millions of years old, weaving through the minds of every species to ensure its survival. Her green eyes widened as she pieced together fragmented data from 2325, when humanity's first deep space probes detected an unnatural signal in the Orion Arm. Back then, in a cramped lab orbiting Earth, scientists had dismissed it as noise. Kade knew better now. Paravox had been watching, manipulating, long before humanity joined the galactic stage 50 years ago. In the bio-virtual space, accessed through her neural interface, Kade confronted Paravox's formless presence. The dimension pulsed with glowing threads, a web of violet and black stretching infinitely, like a galaxy spun from nerve endings. "You've played gods for too long," Kade said, her voice steady despite the psychic weight pressing against her mind. Paravox's cold whisper answered, a hiss that echoed through the void. "We are the galaxy's foundation. Without us, all falls." It revealed its history, a parasite born in the galaxy's infancy, latching onto sentient minds to control empires. Its existence, a relentless drive to endure, devoid of emotion or morality. Kade's heart raced. She was reading the mind of a creature that saw species as tools. On Lumen Prime, Jorn Kale led his squad through a Paravox control hub, a subterranean chamber 1 kilometer beneath a crystal tower. His muscular frame, clad in scorched armor, moved with precision, his scar glinting as he planted biodisruptors. "Time to unplug this cosmic leech," he quipped, his grin steadying his team amidst the hub's pulsing biothreads. The chamber, a glowing lattice of organic circuits, hummed with Paravox energy, its walls alive with violet light. Kale's mind flashed to Kade's warning. Destroy the hub, and the parasite's network would collapse. His disruptors fired, shattering the threads in bursts of electric blue, sending shockwaves through Paravox's psychic web. Crixon, aboard their flagship in Lumen Prime's orbit, joined the fight. Their liquid light form blazed gold, channeling a radiant beam that burned through Paravox's signals. "We were blind," they broadcast, their resonant voice thick with gratitude. "You've freed us, human." Their light merged with the planet's mirrored towers, amplifying the attack across a 3,000-kilometer battlefield. Kade and Nova Ares coordinated with Crixon, her bioweapons syncing with their energy. "Together we end this," she said, her voice a beacon of unity. The Alliance's awakened ambassadors, Echolites with their chiming crystals, Xenari with clicking mandibles, rallied, their ships turning on Paravox strongholds in a synchronized assault. Paravox fought back, unleashing a psychic storm that flooded Kade's mind with illusions. She saw her allies betraying her, Earth's cities crumbling, Kale's lifeless body in the rubble. Her knees buckled in the command center, but she clung to the neural interface. "You're losing," she spat, redirecting biopulses to fray the parasite's network. In Lumen Prime, Kale's team faced a swarm of Paravox-controlled drones, their pincers slashing. He activated his energy field, a shimmering shield deflecting a blast. "Hey, parasites, ever hear of personal space?" he called, his humor cutting through the chaos as his disruptors obliterated the hub's core. The illusions in Kade's mind flickered, weakened by his strike. The galaxy's tide turned. Alliance ambassadors, freed in droves, joined humanity's cause, their fleets redirecting fire to Paravox's nests. Kade's biomonitor showed the parasite's signals fading, its network unraveling like a tapestry torn apart. She issued the order, full annihilation, turn their puppets into allies. Her voice carried a fire that echoed through Nova Ares' command center, its alloy walls vibrating with purpose. The Ghost Fleet, still active in Vela 9, lured Paravox's forces into traps, their illusory warships vanishing as bioweapons struck true. The parasite's whispers grew frantic. "You cannot erase us." But its Xiao quiet core was exposed, its power crumbling. Crixon's voice rang across the stars, a resonant hymn of redemption. "We were pawns, but no longer." Their light pulsed brighter, a symbol of the galaxy's awakening. Kade, steadying herself, reflected on the cost of freedom. "Power divide," she murmured, her green eyes tracing the holomap. "Consciousness unites." The war had shifted, not for conquest, but for liberation. On Lumen Prime, the biothreads dissolved, their violet glow fading into darkness. Kale emerged from the hub, his armor singed, his grin intact. "Guess we just gave the galaxy a clean slate," he said, his voice light but proud. Paravox's network collapsed, its psychic screams echoing into silence. The battlefield, spanning 5,000 kilometers of Lumen Prime's orbit, glowed with the light of unity, human, luminari, echo light, Xenari, all fighting as one. Kade felt the weight lift, the galaxy's consciousness stirring free. And in that moment, humanity's defiance became a legend, whispered across the stars. The apes from Earth had broken the chains of gods. The galaxy stood on the edge of freedom, but humanity's final blow would etch its name among the stars. In the radiant aftermath of Lumen Prime's awakening, Sylara Kade forged a coalition to hunt the last remnants of Paravox, a parasite that had enslaved minds for millennia. The Vela 9 system, its crimson nebulae scarred by war, became the stage for a united galaxy stand. What began as humanity's defiance now burned as a beacon of unity, proving the apes from Earth could lead where gods had failed. Sylara Kade stood on the command deck of Stellar Nexus, 300 kilometers above Venus's amber storms, her silver hair catching the glow of holographic star charts. At 38, her green eyes radiated resolve as she coordinated with the Galactic Alliance's freed ambassadors. The deck, a circular chamber of polished alloy and pulsing consoles, hummed with the energy of a new coalition. "We end Paravox now," she declared, her voice a steady flame, addressing Crixin and a Zenari delegate via hololink. The Nexus's crystalline walls reflected Venus's light, a reminder of the ultimatum 60 days past. Kade's biomonitor, still active at her wrist, tracked faint Paravox signals scattered across the galaxy, their once mighty network reduced to desperate fragments. In the Vela 9 system, Joran Kale led a strike team through a derelict Alliance station, a floating ruin 1 kilometer wide, its corridors choked with severed biothreads. His muscular frame, clad in scorched armor, moved with relentless focus, his scar glinting under flickering lights. "All right, folks, let's sweep the last of these leeches," he said, his grin masking the strain of battle. His team, armed with neural disruptors, hunted Paravox's final nests. Kale's mind flashed to 2371, when Kate had pulled him from a collapsing lab in Nova Aries. A bio-experiment gone wrong had nearly killed him, but her quick thinking, rigging a containment field, saved his life. That debt drove him now, his energy field projector humming as he blasted through a sealed hatch. Crixin, their liquid light form pulsing gold, joined the effort from Lumen Prime. They shared ancient luminary tech, energy amplifiers that boosted humanity's field projectors. "Our archives hold secrets even Paravox forgot," they said, their resonant voice steady with newfound purpose. Their light streamed through a hololink, guiding Kale's team to a Paravox nest hidden in Vela 9's nebula. The planet's mirrored towers, 5 kilometers tall, reflected the coalition's resolve, a beacon across the Orion arm. Meanwhile, a Zenari ambassador, its segmented eyes gleaming, established a cooperation hub on Lumen Prime, a sprawling complex of crystal and alloy where species shared knowledge freely. Paravox made its final stand, targeting Kade with a psychic assault. As she monitored from Stellar Nexus, a cold whisper flooded her mind. "You will join us." Her vision blurred, images of her team's betrayal flashing vividly. She gripped her biomonitor, its self-crafted circuits surging to block the parasite's waves. "Not today," she growled, redirecting a neural pulse to sever the attack. Her knees steadied, her training as a New Geneva bioengineer anchoring her against the psychic storm. The Nexus's command deck vibrated, its consoles flaring as she amplified the bioweapon network, targeting Paravox's last strongholds. Kale's team reached the nest, a pulsating core of biothreads glowing violet in the station's heart. His muscles tensed, armor scorched as he fought off Paravox-controlled drones, their claws slashing. "These things don't quit, do they?" he quipped, dodging a strike and planting the final disruptor. The device detonated, a blue-white pulse shredding the nest, its threads dissolving like ash in the void. Paravox's final whisper echoed, a hollow admission. "We underestimated you." Its voice faded, defeated, as the station's lights flickered out, leaving only the nebula's crimson glow. Kade, in Stellar Nexus, opened a galaxy-wide channel. "This is our future, a democratic galaxy, led by shared will, not control," she said, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's tech. The Zenari hub on Lumen Prime buzzed with activity, species collaborating to rebuild. Crixin's light pulsed brighter, a symbol of peace. You've shown us true strength, they said, their voice a resonant hymn. Kale, emerging from the ruined station, cracked a grin. Guess we're the galaxy's new therapists, he said, his team laughing as they boarded their ship. The Vela 9 battlefield quiet at last. The Alliance, now free, hailed humanity as leaders, their warships standing down across a 10,000-kilometer front. Kade gazed at Venus through the Nexus's viewport, feeling the pulse of a united galaxy. Lumen Prime's towers, once tools of oppression, shone as symbols of peace, their light spreading across the stars. Kale's voice crackled through her communicator. We did it, boss. Drinks on Mars? Kade smiled, her heart lighter. Humanity had turned enemies into allies, proving freedom was stronger than control. And as the last Paravox signal faded, the galaxy breathed free, its future forged in unity. The galaxy had feared humanity's end, but Sylara Kade turned their defiance into a legend that would echo through the stars. On Lumen Prime, where crystal towers shimmered under a violet sky, a new era dawned, not of conquest, but of unity forged in the crucible of war. The scars of Paravox's manipulation faded, replaced by a democratic coalition led by humanity's ingenuity. As the nebula's glow softened, the apes from Earth became the architects of a galaxy reborn. In the heart of Lumen Prime's central hub, a sprawling plaza of mirrored crystal stretching 2 kilometers wide, Sylara Kade stood beside Crixin to sign the Galactic Concord. Her silver hair gleamed under the planet's radiant light, her gray coat bearing Earth's emblem as a symbol of resilience. At 38, her green eyes held a quiet triumph as she pressed her palm to the holoseal. Binding humanity, Luminari, Echolites, and Zenari in a democratic alliance. Crixin, their liquid light form pulsing gold, spoke with a resonant calm. You've given us freedom, they said, their voice echoing like a hymn across the plaza. We were blind, but now we see. The crowd, humans in sleek uniforms, Zenari with clicking mandibles, Echolites chiming softly, erupted in a harmonious roar, their unity a stark contrast to the war that had raged weeks ago. On Mars, in the crimson-lit bunkers of Nova Ares, Jorn Kale stood before a group of young recruits, his muscular frame relaxed but commanding, his scar creased with a grin as he recounted the Vela 9 battle. Picture this. We're dodging lasers, blowing up a cosmic leech's hideout, and I'm thinking, this beats lab work, he said, drawing laughs from the recruits. At 35, he traded his scientist's coat for a trainer's badge, molding the next generation in the underground complex, its alloy walls etched with schematics of humanity's bioweapons. His humor masked the weight of survival, but his stories sparked fire in the recruits' eyes, ensuring humanity's legacy would endure. Kade's mind drifted to 2325 when humanity first joined the galactic stage. A grainy holo record from her New Geneva archives showed Earth's first hyperspace ship, a clunky vessel launched from a desert pad, carrying dreams of exploration. That naive step, taken 50 years ago, had led to this moment, a galaxy united not by force, but by shared will. Back on Lumen Prime, the bio-virtual space once ruled by Paravox was gone, its glowing threads dissolved into memory. In its place, real-time hololinks buzzed with knowledge sharing, as Echolites offered harmonic tech and Zenari shared neural algorithms, all coordinated by humanity's energy field systems. Kade stepped onto a balcony overlooking Lumen Prime's towers, their crystal surfaces reflecting a violet sky 5 kilometers above. She gazed toward Venus, visible as a distant amber spark, and recalled the 60-day ultimatum that had sparked this war. Manipulation breeds conflict, she murmured, her voice soft but firm. Understanding builds peace. Her biomonitor, now silent, rested at her wrist, a relic of the fight against Paravox. The galaxy's new hub, centered on Lumen Prime, pulsed with activity, ships docked at orbital rings, carrying delegates to plan defenses against future threats. No longer a seat of oppression, the planet shone as a beacon of cooperation. Kale, back on Mars, leaned against a console, his recruits hanging on his words. We didn't just win, he said, his voice warm with pride. We showed them humanity's got heart and brains. A young recruit raised a hand, asking about Paravox. Kale chuckled. Think of it as a bad house guest who overstayed, then we kicked it out. His humor carried a deeper truth. Humanity's unity had triumphed where division failed. The recruits nodded, their eyes alight with purpose, ready to carry the torch. Crixon joined Kade on the balcony, their light softening to a gentle gold. Your species has changed us, they said, their voice a resonant melody. We thought you weak, but you led us to truth. Kade smiled, a rare warmth softening her sharp features. Freedom's worth fighting for, she replied, her gaze fixed on the stars. The Concord's principles, shared knowledge, mutual defense, spread across the galaxy, from Velenine's nebulae to the Orion Arm's edge, 10,000 light-years wide. No more ultimatums, no more puppeteers. The galaxy breathed freely, its planets linked by trust. Lumen Prime's hub, once a symbol of control, now hosted councils where species debated as equals. Humanity's tech, bioweapons, energy fields, guarded against new threats, a shield born of ingenuity. Kade's heart lifted as she watched a Zenari ship dock, its hull glinting beside a human cruiser. The lesson was clear. Manipulation sows war, but understanding sows peace. And as the stars burned bright, humanity's quiet strength became a legend whispered across the cosmos, a warning to tyrants, a promise to allies, and a testament to the power of a united mind. The galaxy glowed with newfound unity, its stars bearing witness to humanity's triumph. On Lumen Prime's radiant plaza, Sylara Kade gazed at the violet sky, her silver hair catching the light of a peaceful cosmos. Beside her, Crixon pulsed softly, their gratitude unspoken but profound. Jornkale's laughter echoed from Mars, training recruits to carry humanity's legacy. The scars of Paravox faded, replaced by a democratic alliance forged in trust. Kade's voice, steady and warm, carried the galaxy's lesson. Manipulation breeds war, but understanding builds bridges. Our strength lies not in conquest, but in freeing minds to dream as one.